level 1. If you were a fan of any of these teams and you wasted your time watching these games, I'm genuinely sorry for you. First up, you already knew who it was going to be, the 2012 Bobcats. If you were a Bobcats fan during this era, why? Why would you put yourself through that pain? When you search 2011-2012 on Google, the first thing that pops up is 2011-2012 Charlotte Bobcats, and that isn't a good thing. This is because they were so damn bad. The team finished 7-59, the worst win percentage in NBA history. If you need help with the little math, that's about 11% win percentage. The worst part is, you look at this roster, they're not that bad. Gerald Henderson, solid pro. Same for DJ Augustine, Boris Diaw, GOAT, Corey Maggette, another solid pro, rookie Kemba Walker and Bismack Biyombo. I've seen worse rosters, but when you think of the worst teams ever, the 2011-12 Bobcats is pretty much the first one that pops into everyone's mind, so of course I had to say them first. And I said I've seen worse rosters. That's because I saw the next team play with my own two eyes, the 2015-16 76ers. I remember when I was younger, we aren't even Sixer fans. My dad used to take us to see them play because you could sit in row 4 for 30 cents. Actually, I think there was times they would pay us to come see the games. This team was the definition of ass. They finished 10-72. That's almost more impressive than going 72-10. During the season, a Philly website put out this article, could the 2015-2016 Sixers be the worst NBA team of all time? And wait, before you say, of course they could, look at the date this dude put this out. They put this out in December. The season literally started 2 months ago, and they're asking if they're the worst team ever. They still got 5 months to go, man. But this team started 0-18. We're talking about a team with Robert Covington, Jeremy Grant, TJ McConnell, Nerlens Noel, Jahlil Okafor, Ish Smith, Christian Wood. Wait, why is this team kind of stacked in hindsight? Anyways, next team. We got to go back 2 seasons for this team, the 2024 Detroit Pistons. Remember when I just said the Sixers went 0-18? Well, the Pistons had a different kind of record. They tied for the most losing straight games in a season. Ever. 28 games. Congrats, Pistons fans. But actually, the Pistons are insane 2 seasons later, so genuinely, congrats, Pistons fans. But the 2024 Pistons team was so bad, they ended up finishing 14-68. I remember they had Cade Cunningham contemplating retirement at 22 years old. Then they had Malachi Flynn put up 50 in a game. Malachi freaking Flynn. Yeah, no wonder they're on this list. But just know, if you were a Piston fan and you suffered through these games, no one could call you a bandwagon today. But after them, we gotta go to the 09-2010 Nets. This is the second team already that finished 12-70. This team also started off 0-18. They were so bad, Jay-Z decided to pack them up and move them to Brooklyn. I found a website breaking down this Nets season. Under the section, records, awards, and milestones, one of their milestones was, during the record-setting 0-18 skid, the Nets surrendered 49 points in the second quarter of a 117-101 home loss to the Dallas Mavericks, establishing a new franchise record for most points allowed in a single quarter. That's quite the record, award, and milestone. But let's go back a little for the next team, the 1973 76ers. This team was just horrendous, man. Record's actually worse this time, 9-73, the reverse 2016 Warriors. Looking at this roster, I feel like I know a lot of old players. I know Tom Van Arsdale, but the rest of these guys, do I not know ball, or are these actual plumbers? Plus, they got Tyrese Halliburton's great granduncle, John Halliburton. But yeah, the Sixers team was awful. At the time, they had the most straight losses at 20, till it was broken by some of the teams we mentioned. This is the team we're dealing with. This team hired head coach Roy Rubin, who had no NBA coaching experience, and he went 4-47 before being fired mid-season. Yeah, They were trash. But anyways, let's move to level 2. Failed super teams. Teams that look stacked on paper, but they were awful in reality. And of course, for failed super teams, we gotta start with the 2014 Nets. Darren Williams, Joe Johnson, Brook Lopez. Then they add KG and Pierce to fill out that perfect starting lineup. This team had a magazine cover. Who wants a piece of them? Everyone. Literally everyone wants to play them. And we all know in hindsight, those picks they ended up trading for Pierce and Garnett. Close your ears, Nets fans, if any of you exist. Well, those picks ended up becoming Tatum and Brown, which of course won the Celtics a ring. Yeah, but the Nets finished 44-38. They lose 4-1 in the second round to the Heat. Then Pierce dips after one season of being a Net. Couldn't take it anymore. Brutal. But after them, I want to go back one season. We got the 2013 Lakers. If we got one team that can hang with these Nets, it's another old man squad. Kobe, Dwight, Pau, Nash, and Artest. Sure, it's going to work. And honestly, it seemed like it was going to until Pau and Nash decided they can't stay healthy anymore. But this team did look stacked on paper, but they just couldn't click. It was a Mike Brown team to start, then it turned into a Mike D'Antoni team after Mike Brown got fired. They finished 45-37 until they met Tim Duncan in the playoffs. And you know what happens when you meet Tim Duncan in the playoffs? You get swept. But after them, I want to go back to Brooklyn because the Nets tried it once again a decade later, and once again, it didn't work. This time though, it was Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. How are you going to put these three players on the same team and not be good? Just running back the 2012 Thunder basically, but now in their primes? Yeah. But the big three, they weren't even available to play. Kyrie, Harden, KD, they played a grand total of 16 games together. 16. Yeah. But I'm not even joking, the role players on this squad were insane. Paul Millsap, LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, Goran Dragic. All these guys just wanted to win a ring. But they ended up losing 4-0 in the first round. I apologize to these 5 Elite 2010s GOATs. No disrespect to you guys. But want to talk about something crazy? Now we got to go back to the Lakers for this next squad. We've gone Nets, Lakers for their first 4. I promise we'll get to some other ones. But for this, we got to go to the 04 Lakers. Karl Malone and Gary Payton joined 3-time champs Shaq and Kobe to try and get their first rings. And well, it went about how you'd expect. Good enough for them to be in the failed super teams category. Gary Payton publicly admitted he didn't fully embrace Phil Jackson's triangle offense, creating a schematic disconnect that hindered team cohesion. Nice. So Gary Payton joins a team that just three-peated and says, nah, I don't want to run your offense. Makes no sense. But the Lakers did end up making the championship, but that's where they met that stacked 04 Pistons squad. The team that moves the ball like they had freaking Drake May running the show. And if Drake May is running the show, that means the Lakers are losing the series 4-1. And the Lakers, another failed super team. But after them, let's get a little more current. The 2024 Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. This team was actually so bad, man. They just felt beatable on any given night, and I don't really know why. I mean, KD and Book averaged 27.1 points per game each. That should be good enough, but I'm literally researching for this video right now, and what? This team had Thaddeus Young? 1, when the hell did that happen? And 2, why were they not the best team ever? He's literally one of 5 players ever to play 800 games, average 13.5 points, 5.9 rebounds, 1.4 steals, shoot 49% and 30% from 3. The Suns should have been elite with that team. But for failed super teams, we got one more squad, the 2020 Clippers. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. This one doesn't sound crazy. So you realize Kawhi was coming off maybe the best playoff run ever, and Paul George was 3rd in MVP voting, and they had Joakim Noah on their team. Clippers legend. But this was COVID season, and they ended up 49-23. Then they got to the bubble. Then Luka does this on them.
Doncic pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang!
No one has ever screamed louder than Mike Breen in that moment. But the Clippers actually won this round versus the Mavs. Then they blew a 3-1 lead versus the Nuggets in the next round. So yeah, the Clippers bringing in these two top 5-ish players onto the same squad. Then they lose in the second round. Definitely a failed super team. But I do want to mention one thing real quick. I'm going to play a really quick, cool sub montage telling you to sub. Thanks. But in all seriousness, if you guys do want to subscribe, it's the only thing that truly tells me you guys want me to go all in on this channel. Thank you. Anyways, level 3. Fun teams that couldn't get it done. And when I say get it done, I mean didn't even make the finals. Let's start off with the 2013 Grizzlies. I want to make this clear really quick. For each of the teams in the rest of the video, they're all going to be good teams. So I only picked 1 year for each team. So you aren't going to see 3 different variations of the Grit and Grind Grizzlies or 5 Bulls MJ teams. Thanks. But the 2013 Grizzlies, I don't care what team you liked watching the Grit and Grind Grizzlies. Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph, Tony Allen, Mike Conley, they just played hard. And they didn't have that 1A superstar that all the other great teams had. I mean, 2013 was probably the Grizzlies' team best year. Look at this. Literally, 3 of the 4 Grizzlies retired numbers are from this squad. And the other dude is retired league-wide. And I'll bet my dog's life savings on Mike Conley getting his number retired too. But yeah, that Grizzly team made the Western Conference Finals. But like we mentioned, if you meet Duncan in the playoffs, you're probably getting swept. And that's exactly what happened here. But after them, let's stay in the same time frame. The 2014 Lob City Clippers. This team was deadass Showtime. If they were on, you had to watch. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford, JJ Redick. There's probably an argument to be made that there's never been 2 better dunkers on the same team than Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. These 2 in their primes probably dunked on Brandon Knight a combined 74 times. But yeah, Lob City was actually so much fun to watch. If there's one team from the early 2010s that I wish got it done, it's definitely them. Blake Griffin was so underrated, or maybe underappreciated is the better word. Except the Clippers all hated each other, but that's a different story. But this year, they went 57-25. They beat Golden State in the first round before they sold their souls the next year. Then they lost to the Thunder in 6 in the next round. But ask a Clipper fan, were any of those Lob City Clipper teams true championship caliber teams? No, they just looked like they were at times because of Chris Paul. Never, always posers. Thanks, GS Gunboy. But let's move on. Let's go back to that Grizzlies year, but this time the 2013 Knicks. Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, Tyson Chandler, J.R. Smith, even Raymond Felton and Jason Kidd were good for this team too. But this is the year I'm choosing for the Knicks because it was their best record. 54-28, although they did have Linsanity the year before, but they got this Sports Illustrated article. Were the 2012-2013 Knicks ahead of their time? Jason Kidd comments. Jason Kidd is the latest participant to look back on the New York Knicks' accomplished yet disappointing 2012-2013 campaign. My guy Jay Kidd thinks the Knicks were from the future. Alright, they weren't that good, Jason Kidd. But they were fun. This season, they beat the Celtics in the first round. But then the second round, they literally couldn't stop Roy Hibbert for some reason and fell to the Pacers. And those Pacers teams were always insane for some reason. Shout out to them. They fit in this level too. But next up, let's talk about another Amari Stoudemire team. This time, even though he was hurt basically the whole season too, the 2006 Suns. Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Shawn Marion. How can you not love that big three? They literally had a whole ass offense to themselves. The 7 seconds or less offense. That's kind of sick. You knew they were going to get shots up, and they were going to do it quick too. Steve Nash would end up winning the MVP, but ultimately, they lost to the Mavs in the conference finals. But the 06 Suns, up there with the Lob City Clippers, with the most fun teams ever. But if you want to talk about another fun team, let's talk about 2002 Kings. Bibby, Stojakovic, Divac, Weber, rookie Gerald Wallace. No one ever mentions him. And this team was insane. They went 61-21, but want to talk about a team that got screwed? There's whole compilation videos about bad calls this team got in a playoff game versus the Lakers. And really, everyone knows this game was rigged, because who the hell wants to watch a Nets-Kings finals? You know David Stern wasn't letting that happen. But anyways, now we got level 4 lost in the finals. The teams who were actually able to make it to the finals, but weren't able to win the championship. And of course, we gotta start with the 2012 Thunder. Durant, Harden, Westbrook, one of the biggest what-if teams ever. Made it to the finals to play LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. These three dudes had an average age of like 14. And coming off a 6th man of the year, the Thunder are like, why would we want to pay James Harden? Let's trade him and watch him become the greatest ISO scorer the game's ever seen. Yeah, Durant, Harden, and Westbrook. They'd all go on to win MVPs in their careers, but as teammates, losing in the finals is as far as they got. But to continue on that pattern, we got the 2009 Magic, we got Dwight Howard, Jameer Nelson, Rashard Lewis, Dwight Howard, Hedo Turkoglu, Dwight Howard. Okay, this team was good, but Dwight was actually insane this year. Defensive Player of the Year, 4th in MVP voting, averaged 21 and 14, which is just like an average Jalen Duren game now that I think about it. But anyways, the Magic were elite. They'd end up finishing 59 and 23. They made the finals. They lost to Kobe and Pau. Then Dwight and Van Gundy decided, actually, we hate each other. And that's how this Magic team went down. Pretty dumb in hindsight. But next we got the most recent team yet, the 2024 Mavs. I didn't want to talk about any recent teams in this video because obviously they still have time, but the Mavs traded Luka, so this isn't the same team anymore. But yeah, the Mavs this year, they finished 52 and 30, so nothing insane, but then they make a legendary playoff run. Luka averages 29, 10, and 9 in the playoffs. Kyrie and Luka were so good that Eminem and 2 Chainz named a song after them. But the Mavs, they make the finals where they eventually lose to the Celtics. Then they trade Luka. Absolute disaster class. But enough of them. Let's go to a young LeBron team. Their 2007 Cavs. Look how bad this squad is, man. How did LeBron go to the finals with this team? But they'd also go 50 and 32. LeBron averaged 25, 8, and 8 in the playoffs. But then, the same as all the other squads, you meet Tim Duncan in the finals, and you get swept. It's literally clockwork at this point. But let's talk about an older squad in this category, the 1994 Knicks. Patrick Ewing and the Knicks make the finals a couple times, but this was probably their best season, so I'm going to go with this one. When you have an entire anthem that still gets played to this day, you know you were a loved NBA team. But this team, Ewing, Starks, Oakley, Mason, they were the epitome of New York basketball. Except they never won a championship. This year, they got to the playoffs, made it to the finals, and Patrick Ewing had to match out with literally the only center he struggled against, Hakeem Olajuwon. And the Knicks, they lose this series in 7. But the last team I want to talk about in this section, when you think of a team that never got it done, you think Malone and Stockton Utah Jazz. And for this one, we're going to talk about the 97 Jazz, because this was definitely their best season. They finished 64 and 18. I mean, you got 2 top 25-ish players of all time on your team, and you can't get it done one time. But I was reading this roster, I had to triple check this. I could have swore this said Jameis Winston. But the Jazz kept getting to the finals and kept losing. Because of, well, you know who. Yeah, they couldn't stop this dude. But now, let's move on. Level 5, one and done championship teams. The teams that went, well, one and done in the championship. And to me, the definition of one and done NBA championship teams, the 2019 Raptors. Looking at this team today, this roster is genuinely so stacked. OG Anunoby, Chris Boucher, Danny Green, Ibaka, Kawhi, Lowry, Greg Monroe, Dwight Powell, Siakam, Van Vliet. Why is this the most stacked team ever? But we all know the reason they got to the finals and won, Kawhi Leonard literally turned into the greatest player of all time. So yeah, this team beats the Warriors, then Kawhi leaves, and they're cooked. The perfect example of one and done. But then we got the 2016 Cavs, LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love. This team played together for a while, but they were only able to win one ring together because the Warriors' annoying ass team. But the year they won, they went 57-25, and the Warriors were 73-9. Then the Warriors go up 3-1, and LeBron took over the finals and wouldn't let the Cavs lose. So the LeBron era Cavs, one ring, 2016. And honestly, most people would probably say this was the most fun finals to ever watch, unless you're a Warrior fan. But anyways, for the next one and done squad, we gotta go back 2004, the Detroit Pistons. I feel like this Pistons team is still one people talk about to this day. I don't know why. Billups, Hamilton, Prince, the two Wallaces. I mean, the starting lineup is genuinely stacked. So maybe that's why people still talk about them. But I think a reason people love this team is because they don't have your typical superstar. I mean, they went against Shaq and Kobe in the finals and then beat them, an actual underdog upset. So yeah, I guess I do understand why people love this team. But following them, we got another squad that beat a squad they shouldn't have, the 2011 Mavs. We're talking Dirk, Tyson Chandler, and old-ass Jason Kidd, beating Wade, James, and Bosh in the finals. I mean, the Mavs were good in the regular season, 57-25, but you look up any finals prediction, and they had the Heat winning that series. Actually, this prediction I found had the Mavs out in the second round. Nice prediction, buddy. But now we gotta move on to 2008 Celtics. Isn't it weird that the Big Four Celtics only have one ring together? I don't know why, but it feels like they were a dynasty. Garnett, Pierce, Allen, Rondo. I think it might just be because they were so good for that one season. They went 66-16. They had 3 All-Stars. Rondo didn't make it somehow. But yeah, this is a team you're surprised when you check and they only win one championship. But the 08 Celtics are definitely one of the best teams ever. But because they only got one ring, they fit here in level 5. But the last team we're going to talk about for this level, got to get a little more recent on this one again, the 2021 Bucks. I said I'm not going to put any current teams because they still all got a chance, but we know the Bucks ain't winning another ring with Giannis. Sorry, Buck fans. This dude is gone in a month, and if not a month, the summer. But even if he isn't gone, the Bucks team isn't the same. They had Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, a whole different team. So yeah, I didn't want to exclude the Giannis squad, but the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks, the definition of one and done. But now, we gotta move on. Level 6. The greatest teams ever that aren't named the and the don't want to spoil level 7, although you could probably make a guess who it is. But let's start with the 2001 Lakers. I really could have went with any of the Shaq and Kobe teams, but just decided to go with this one. They went 56-26 in the regular season. They match up with AI and the Sixers in the finals, and AI and the Sixers literally have no chance. Shaq and Kobe win their second ring together, but the thing about this team this year, they went 15-1 in the playoffs. Literally one loss. The game AI did this, I would be so mad if I were Tyronn Lue, still to this day. But let's move on. Now we get the 2014 Spurs. I really didn't know which Spurs team to pick, so I decided to go with the team with Duncan, Parker, Ginobili, and Kawhi. Where Kawhi had LeBron quadruple checking this scoring table when he subbed in. But the Spurs have so many rings over the last 20 years, it's hard to pick a team. And realistically, the Spurs will have so many more rings over the next 20 years. I'd be completely lying if I said I wasn't jealous of Spurs fans. But following them, we got the 2013 Heat. I wanted to include a Big Three Heat team, so I may as well include the one that beat the Spurs in the finals. You know, rebound Bosch back out to Allen. But that year, the Heat were insane. They went 66-16. A lot of people will say this is LeBron's prime. To me, I don't know if it's this or 2016. But either way, the Miami Heat this season, insanely good at the sport of basketball. And following them, we got the 1986 Boston Celtics. You know I had to get a Larry Bird squad on here. The coldest player ever maybe. Then decided to shovel his mom's driveway and break his back. Billionaire can't hire someone to shovel. But the Celtics this season, they went 67-15. They got Bird, McHale, Ainge, Parrish, Bill Walton, stacked squad. Then they got a young Hakeem in the finals. And actually, Hakeem and the Rockets almost pull it off, but they don't. Bird and the Celtics win the 1986 chip and are pretty easily one of the best NBA teams ever. But if I'm going to get a Bird squad in here, I got to get a Magic squad. And for him, I'm giving it to the 87 Lakers. Literally 1 year later, if you're called the Showtime Lakers, then you got a show called Winning Time, you're going to be on this list. But they literally could have got anyone but this guy to play Larry Bird. Who is this? But this year, the Lakers, they went 65-17. Kareem, Magic, Worthy, and a bunch of other dudes. Byron Scott, Michael Cooper, those kinds of guys. But yeah, the Lakers meet the Celtics in the finals. We get the Bird Magic rivalry continued. But this time, the Lakers win 4-2. But we had to get a Showtime Lakers squad in this section. But next up, I gotta show them their respect. The 1989 Pistons. If you hate this team, so does everyone else ever. If you were matching up with them, just know you were going home with about 2 broken fingers, 1 eye, and a dislocated mindset of life. This team was stacked. Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer. They were just dirty though. Literally called the Bad Boy Pistons. If you wanted to have a relaxing, enjoyable, kick back, drink a beer type of night, it wasn't going to happen after versing 14 professional MMA fighters in basketball. But last up in this level, we got to go back to LA for this one. And this time, we got to go back to 1972, the 72 Lakers. We talked about plumbers earlier, but these were elite plumbers. Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain. By the way, I made a video to find out if Wilt's 100-point game actually happened. I interviewed someone who played in it. So if you just want to see it, just sub please. I'm going to post it eventually. But the 72 Lakers, this team was absurd. Wilt was in his later years, but Jerry West and Elgin Baylor were dogs. Granted, I watched film of these games, and there's a part of me that thinks I could play in these games, and I'm not even that good. But I love old basketball too, so I appreciate these guys. But the 72 Lakers were insane. They went 69-13. They'd end up playing the Knicks in the finals, and it wasn't even close. Lakers win that series 4-1. Still, to this day, the 72 Lakers, one of the best teams of all time. But lastly, that brings us to level 7. You already know what 2 teams these are going to be. First up, we got the 1996 Chicago Bulls. This is probably the best year of MJ's Bulls. 72-10. MJ wins MVP. Scottie Pippen comes in 5th in MVP voting. Dennis Rodman literally comes in 15th in MVP voting. Imagine Terrell Brandon won MVP. But the Chicago Bulls this season, insanely elite. They end up with the finals matchup of Gary Payton, Shawn Kemp, and the Sonics. And the Bulls, of course they win. 4-2. MJ and Pippen win their 4th championship together. But lastly, the other team in the final tier, the 2017 Golden State Warriors. Actually, the most annoying NBA team ever. Durant, Curry, Clay, Draymond, Iggy. There was no way to guard this team. Because KD having an off night? Don't worry. We got the 2 greatest shooters ever on our team. There was no way to stop them. They went 67-15, then 16-1 in the playoffs. Of course, they won the ring. And when it comes down to it, the 2017 Warriors and the 1996 Bulls are the 2 teams that constantly get compared. It took me 5 seconds of a Google search to find all these comparisons. And if you enjoyed this, I would genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. It's the only thing that really tells me you guys want me to go all in on this channel. Thank you so much for watching.